Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third game of day two of the Heroic League for FOF. I'm Raptor, joined by the Mythic League's ace, Torres. How you doing, Torres?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm getting excited to get into this draft.
I am too. These are two of our undefeated teams right now. Obviously, we've only played one game each so far, but both already going in a great direction. INT, last season's champion, coming up strong. Falcons, new team, looking great so far in their first game. And we're gonna see if they can carry that on into the second day.
Yeah. I saw the games yesterday. I'm personally very close with INT, so I have a good idea of what's going to come from them this draft. And from Falcon, I thought their game yesterday was actually fairly well played for the first game of the split. I think it's doing all right. But I mean, as we transition, let's look at these bands. Looks like from INT, it's looking like a Fiddlesticks and a Yone band. So right out the bat, it looks like these bands are flying right out.
Yeah, a lot of jungle bands so far. I would expect to see one more coming out from Falcon. They actually have lost a band. I've been told they had an emergency sub, so they have lost a band. But the Vladimir coming out, nice solid pick. I'm not sure if that's top or mid. I would usually assume top, but you never know nowadays. Champion's going everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, especially in this meta, I mean, like, you could totally be a flex pick, anywhere from top to mid to even ADC at some points. But I assume it'll probably go towards the mid or top lane, especially in some of these matchups. Vladimir could really get just free farm it away if INT is going to play weak side, which I assume they play with the substitute, as I assume X Delta does not play top lane.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now you're saying Vladimir AD carry, and I'm just imagining a Vladimir building Kraken Slayer, just going around the map, just basic attacking people to death.
Not my idea, but I mean, if it works, it works. But
you always be surprised.
Yeah.
Gale Force would be great too. And the Victor coming out now for In the Trees. So we've got their mid, we've got their jungle. We'll have to see if Falcon responds here, if they pick up their jungle. I see them hovering the Volley Bears. So this is a game of bears today. Always fun to see. Good old bear slaps going around if they lock this in. I would presume it's going to be jungle, but it could also be top lane, still flexible.
What I really liked about the Falcon Esports first draft, they had first pick, so the red side. R1, they picked up Vladimir, which is a flex pick where they can flex it mid or top. But the answer to that from INT was picking up a strong jungler. Udyr, one of the fastest growing junglers in the game, controls the early game. Probably going to go for following INT's kind of game plan where they just stack up early Drakes and choke you out little by little with better macro decisions, or Udyr is really going to shine. So I think that's a really good pickup for both Explode, Victor. You know, one of Evolve favorite champions plays TF, Victor, all those champions. It's a fairly safe pick with a little bit of range. And I think the draft is looking good for INT, but also Falcon Esports is coming out with a pretty good draft themselves.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's Maokai support or top. We did see it in the support position yesterday, so that's what I'm assuming where it's going. They haven't seen as much Maokai top as of late, but it's still a solid pick. You know, a lot of poke in lane. In the support position. Ezreal coming out for INT in the end of the first half, and so these teams a little bit split right now. Falcon missing their support and presumably their top laner. So their AD carry and their top laner. On the other side, INT is still missing their top and support, so I think we'll see that reflected in their bans here. But it's just depending where they're going to target.
Yeah, it looks like the Aatrox ban is coming out from the side of INT, and a set ban coming out from Falcon Esports.
All right, so they're assuming that's going to be Maokai support then.
Maokai support.
And actually, that makes me think that they're assuming that even the volley is going to be jungle and that the Vlad's going to be mid, which would be something interesting. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think their thought process in this is that, from what I'm seeing on the side of Falcon Esports, is the fact that they have no really hard engage. So they're probably going to cover that up by putting Maokai in the top lane and putting something maybe in the bot lane, something like Rel, something like Alistar to cover up that weakness in their draft.
That would be good. I mean, that would be a very beefy comp if so. Like that's the front line from hell, especially for an Ezreal and a Victor, people that just can't really put out a lot of DPS. Ezreal can kind of, but Victor's more like a damage over time kind of character. So they're not going to be great for them if this becomes a super beef comp. Hopefully grab something on the top side that maybe get some DPS out, maybe like a Vayne or if it's not Teemo, but it's actually going to be the Ornn coming out here for INT.
Yeah, from INT side, I mean, the way you're looking at it is that Falcon Esports is just going to have like a beefy front line that you're gonna have to get through. Because like when you're seeing it, the Volibear, the Maokai, and they still have to pick an engaged support maybe, and with the ADCs available, there's Jinx and Kai'Sa, which are just doing to dish out damage. You only really need the one damage dealer in the ADC, and their team comp is just so much easier to play out than INTs at the moment.
Yeah, the Kai'Sa especially, like, that's a lot of mobility you have right there. Easy to get out from a Victor W, get away from the bear, get out of that Ornn ult. So that's pretty good right there. We'll see if they lock in a tank, and you were correct. If this gets locked in, it's going to be a Rel. She is the strongest support right now. Getting a lot of power picks on the side of Falcon. Only giving up the Udyr, but grabbing both the Kai'Sa and the Rel.
Yeah, I think the second part of draft was really well done from Falcon Esports. They had some good answers. It looks like INT didn't really know what to ban out, and it looks like Falcon picks up what they want. But of course, we're still waiting on INT for that red side last pick. We'll see what it's countered by in the support.
What if it's an Ornn support and they run Renekton top?
I highly doubt it, knowing them. But I mean, it could come out of the hat, man.
The Dream, I mean, that is some more damage getting on the comp right there. But it's actually going to be the Zilean. Oh boy, we get a fun lore matchup today.
Looks like the Zilean. I mean, it looks like it'll help out with the chokes, especially with the Ornn and the Victor. It looks like INT's looking for more like a little bit more of a skirmish comp, whereas Falcon Esports is playing a straight 5-on-5 where they want these picks, and that's where they're going to get their advantages.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be the strength. The name of the game really is also going to be who gets that early lead. I think Falcon comes online a lot earlier than INT. You know, Victor and Ezreal got to get a lot of those items built up, and Ornn's items won't come online till 13, the little buffs for the rest of his team. But, you know, I think that will be really interesting to see then who makes the aggressive plays early on. And I've got to ask you, who do you think is going to take this game?
From a draft perspective, I would rather play as Falcon Esports personally. I think the draft is actually very well done. It has the tanks, the front line, the engage, and just overall just a better team comp than INTs. But from what I know about the players, I think INT will play the macro game a lot better than Falcon Esports, but I could be proven wrong.
I personally am going to go with Falcon. I think it's just such a beefy front line. If INT doesn't get ahead in the early game, they're going to have a really hard time getting through that. It's basically 4 tanks, because, you know, Vladimir are going to be pretty tanky, and then a Kai'Sa just to follow it up. They're going to go in pretty hard. We'll have to see as we get into the game and see it here. Falcon versus INT for a third game of the day.
And as we go into this game, I suspect just it looks like from the blue side, it's just going to be a standard 5-point start. Just not letting Bow Explode like extend the lead onto from the Udyr in the jungle, because this matchup goes in a way where Udyr just full clears at about like 3 minutes, and he'll just take double crab on you as Volibear.
Yeah, and he's see him get a little bit of pressure right there. I think we're not going to see an invade at this point. A little bit late for that. I wonder though where the priority is going to be. I think if I'm Bow Explode, I think bottom lane actually is a good priority for the start, mostly just because Maokai, like, yeah, you're going to hit him, but if he gets to you to a W, Qs away, and maybe gets a basic attack off before he Qs, like, he's not going to really take much out of it. Vladimir is basically an ungankable lane. But I would assume bot lane is the target. Maybe top if they really feel they can catch on to that Maokai.
From what I'm seeing is from the lanes, as a jungle main myself, I really don't like the idea of ganking mid. Of course, you can always catch him off guard early, but as long as Vladimir always has that pull and Ghost and Flash, it's going to be super hard to gank that lane. What I think Bow Explode's going to do is just going to continue to power farm this jungler as Udyr and probably just take the early Drakes while the Falcon Esports' lanes are stuck in a lull, just farming.
Oh, that's interesting. Have you noticed that Maokai doesn't have any items? You okay, Maokai?
We can give him the doubt. We're just some tech we don't know about, but
it's reminding me of old support builds way back in the day before support items, where you had just those gold generation items. There was a time, it was mostly when I played Janna, I would just not run any items at the start, wait until I got to the 750 gold, and then just go back and grab that little ice pick. I'm forgetting the name of it now. But you just go, yeah. So just grabbing that item, and then just going, okay, cool, now I've got a damage buff and I'm getting gold generation right off the bat. Yeah, I suffered for like the first 2 minutes, but completely worth it now. Now I'm ahead in the game. Maybe it's the Maokai's long con play. He's just saving up for an early big item instead of grabbing that starting.
I'm curious actually right now to see where the junglers go, because Volibear took a little bit of a peculiar path. I mean, he ended up skipping his Krugs, and ended up, like, he goes red to Raptors to Wolves to blue. He does like a semi-half clear, just leaving the Krugs up, and I think that's because he wants to contest the crab. And we'll see how these lane states work out, because depending on who has the pressure from their mid and top laner, we'll probably end up getting the crab.
Yeah, I think still without the items, I think Maokai is going to have a hard time really applying much pressure there. He's going to be very squishy, be a pretty easy target to take down. As we're actually seeing Bo explode, looking like he's just going to clear the ward out, but he's coming around right now, trying to get onto this Maokai. Ra's trying to run away. He goes in, the flash comes out, but the bear slap comes in the queue, and first blood goes over to Bo explode.
Yeah, when you're looking at that from a jungler's perspective, the Maokai with no items, very gankable. Not only that, he was very extended, but we hold that thought as...
Yeah, they might be fighting here. There comes the teleport in from the Ornn. The Ram comes through. They hit the bear. Wild West trying to get out, but it's a flash forward, and Delta picks himself up a kill. 2-0 on the board to start this out for INT.
I mean, it's just no hesitation, non-stop fighting. Falcon Esports just falling behind in tempo. That's a very nice look from Delta to TP onto that right after the kill in top lane.
Yeah, and they got a lot of assists there, kind of spread out the gold out a little bit amongst the team. So that's always nice. You never just want it just to if you can avoid a solo kill, get that little bit of tiny extra assist gold, it's always worth it. It's a good play on them. Bunch of flashes blown there. We see a flash from all 3 members of INT, and actually all 3 members of Aces. I mean, not Ace, sorry, Falcon as well. So that's going to be down for the next little engage if they kind of decide to go anything right now. I actually would assume Bo might go back top again now that the Maokai cannot get away at all. But we'll see where that goes. We'll see if he makes another run right now, just clearing out that bottom side. As spot lane's getting pushed in for Falcon. And, ooh, actually, Delta going in with a little bit of engage. We do see now Rod does have some items. Good for him. Got a little bit of armor. Not sure if that's going to help much, but oh, he's getting so low already. He's trying to run away from Delta. Delta ramming forward, getting him low. Oh, the slow. Delta going to pick up a kill. He does onto the Maokai.
And man, that's just Ornn. That's just Maokai not respecting the Ornn. The Ornn is already up on Bambi Cinder. He's 2-0, 29. He's up CS even after TPing to the mid lane. And it's really just looking, it's not a weak side at this point. It's just Ornn, your paladin, tank, mage, caster, assassin.
You know, this might be a little bit of a stretch, but, you know, actually, we're going to wait on that. Half's going in onto Brock. Brock does get out. Now there's poking right onto Halves. He's getting pretty low. I think they're actually going to pick him up right here. He's going to go down. Now here's Bo going in onto Paytime. Paytime running out as quick as he can. The bear going forward gets the slap onto the Kaisa. Ezreal getting some damage there. Paytime looking like he's going to try to get out. He's getting very low and has to burn the heal to get out there. Good play. Good attempt there from Falcon, but the downside of taking a rel, if you miss engage, you're probably going to die for it.
Yeah, I see what Falcon is going for. They feel like they're behind. They're slowly being choked out. But at that point, I think you just have to slow down the game a bit. You have Vladimir. He's going to scale. So same as Kaisa. Like, of course, you're playing into an Ornn who's going to have Ornn items for his teammates. But, I mean, at this point in the game, you're already an item down. I don't think you can fight that.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an unfortunate situation. Again, like you said, good attempt. I could see what they were going for right there. Back to what I was saying on the top side, though. So Maokai's a tree, so he's paper, and Ornn throws out those little like boulder things, so he's rock. Usually you would expect paper to beat rock, but it's feeling like the other way around right now.
Yeah, I think the rocks are magma infused, kind of burning that tree down right now.
It's like plasma scissors. That's lava scissors.
As bad as the top and bot lane are going right now, the mid lane seems to be pretty stable though.
Yeah, the Vladimir in a good position right now. He's been pretty safe. I mean, it is kind of hard to really press out of Vladimir. If you get him low, he's just going to heal right back up. So, good play on him. We'll have to see, though, if they can get a gank on him. If I were INT, I would try to get that soon. You don't want the Vladimir just kind of free farming. That's always going to be a bad thing, especially later in the game. And he's already level 7, so he's getting already close to his strong midpoint, or at least that little early spike he gets from maxing the Q. And seeing some pressure top side. Ooh, ram forward. Raw taking some damage right there. Keeps going in. Ooh, Delta launches the ult. The ram comes through. Oh, and he downloaded enough for a 3rd kill and a killing spree.
Man, Brock, we better watch out. Looks like Delta's coming out for his job. 3-0 up in the top lane, 7 minutes in.
Yeah, he's putting up a number. Raw, though, is the one engaging these fights. I feel like it's just that meme about like when you're down 2K, they think they're even. When they down 5, they think they're just slightly behind. When they're down 10, they think they're okay. They're pretty far behind. It's that meme. He's like, I'm even right now. I'm only down 2K. We're only down 2K gold. I'm only down 2 kills. I can take this guy. Yeah, good confidence. Not working out too well right now.
I mean, if you look at the items, he's not that far apart, which is where I'm guessing he's getting the idea that he can actually fight and trade. But I mean, the base damage on Ornn is just way too high to be trading like that.
Yeah, that W is so much, and he wasn't even level 6 at the time, so he didn't have ult advantage there, or even the level advantage. A little bit understated, but he's there now. Might see him try to make a play. I could expect a teleport play at some point. I do see. Looks like there's a deeper blue ward in the back. No, there's not. Mistook that as a minion, but maybe they try to make a play bottom at some point. Try to get at least 1 lane ahead. Maybe try to get back maybe to the mid lane to get the Vladimir.
At some point, but like with Bo Explode clearing out his bot and topside jungle, he's starting to move into the enemy jungle, trying to find out some more information, get some vision, maybe make a bot play.
He finds Wild West. It's a bear fight right here. Bear slap the bear slap. Kaisa going for it, gets a hit. Rel goes in, gets the ult down. Bo gets knocked down, but Zillion ult is gonna save him. And now they're backing up. Half's getting kind of low right here. Bo trying to get a kill. He who slaps grabs 1. The ult comes in from Wild West. The flash over the wall from Bo is taken out by the Vladimir. Down goes the Zillion, and now they're chasing on to, not Zillion, the Ezreal, and now they chase on to He who slaps. Kaisa ults forward. He who slaps getting low, and it's a double kill over to pay time as Victor comes in, but I don't think he wants to take this Vladimir. He is a very scary boy, and actually he's going to try to run, but the Kaisa Q W landing right there is going to force the flash out. Doesn't want to take that Vlad. A nice 3-for-1 to get Falcon back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, what Bo Explode was doing, he had no camps up. He basically only had the Krugs. Went up from the top side of his jungle to the bot side, tried to get some vision down. It was really unlucky that Volibear was actually there. Kind of just gets converged on. It was good of him to almost trade one out. Oh, he did trade. They did end up getting the Rel. A little unfortunate that the Vladimir had flash followed Bo Explode, but I mean, it's what you get. Well, what I wanted to highlight in that fight, though, is that Victor was actually zoned out by Vladimir that whole time. He was late to the play, and that's overall, it just cost him his flash for nothing. And I think of all noob, should have just stayed mid lane, farmed 2 waves, maybe even gotten a plate. And that play wouldn't kind of just mitigate the play, you know?
Yeah, Victor is a good scaling champ, and getting that little bit of gold, getting him a little bit closer to that break point would have been nice, but unfortunately, now the Vladimir's got a little bit of a lead on him now. 1 kill and 1 assist to his name, and that's going to be scary. Oh, look at the damage he's already putting out with just 1 Q to that Victor. It's already like, what, a 1/5 of his health in 1 Q?
Yeah, I mean, he opted for Sword Shoes, and at this level, level 8 and level 9, he'll be able to one-shot the caster minions pretty soon as he levels up to level 9. And eventually what I want to see what's happening, actually, hold that thought. It looks like Bo Explode dropped down the Herald in order to create some pressure mid lane. I actually, talking to Bo Explode, I've talked to him about this, and just, instead of just dropping the Herald and getting like 2 plates, of course you can get 2 plates and break towers with them. You can also just drop the Herald to create some pressure in order to create space and get the Dragon, which is what he was trying to do, but it looks like the bot lane didn't have their wave show.
Yeah, and Wild West is already there on the play. On the top side, Raw and Delta are just going to duel it out a bit more, waiting to see which one of them teleports first. I feel like a fight might break out around this Dragon, though. Everyone is starting to separate, so never mind then. Everyone's just going to leave. No one wants this Dragon right now. And we're all going to see if they can get another fight going here. Camel pushing up in mid. And actually, hang on, the Udyr kind of sticking around really close to that jungle. Ooh, Evolve Noob, though, is already getting pushed out of this. If this fight breaks out soon, he is not going to be able to get involved with it.
Yeah, I mean, after this wave, I assume he'll just back and then TP back in, as he still has the teleport available.
Yeah, he hasn't started the back yet, but ooh, Ornn is down here to kind of help alleviate some pressure. The Dragon is started from Falcon. There are 4 members here right now. The Rel goes in, the teleport coming in from the Maokai. The stun onto He Who Slops. He gets knocked down into his ult. Paytime's trying to get away. He's going to ult to get out. Brock Lee still trying to get some damage on him. Meanwhile, in the middle of the fight, down goes the Volibear. The Ezreal down, though, on the side of the fight. Camel trying to get in, but he is going to go down too. And it's a 4v2, make that a 4v3, make that a 3v3. And Falcon actually winning the fight from what looked like kind of a scary position at first there. And they're going to claim this dragon. Yeah, see this replay right here. You can see Paytime's looks like he's caught out in the middle. Goes in, has to use his Gale Force, and then ults and drags Brock Lee and Bo Explode away from the fight. There's Camel in the middle, trying to make some pressure right there. They do end up taking out Evolved Noob here, and they did grab the Ezreal, so despite having a jungler, Bo just a little too low to stick around.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that fight, it doesn't seem that bad if you're INT, but what I would have liked to see is Evolved Noob going back first and TPing into the play. Not only that, the fight would have been much closer if Brock Lee hadn't dove the Kai'Sa at the backline. He was so separated from the actual front line. I think it was Volibear and Maokai who were in the front, who were actually dying fairly fast, and if Brock Lee was actually throwing out Qs from a safe distance, I think that fight turns in INT's favor.
Yeah, it was definitely on a knife's edge right there. They could have gone either way, just barely in Falcon's favor. But you know they'll take that. They started this game down so far, and they're clawing their way back in ever so slowly into it. But yeah, they're getting there.
It's important to note that the gold lead right now it's merely 3K, and most of that gold is on your Ornn right now. Your Ornn is not your primary carry. He's not going to carry you out of this game. As tanky as he gets, he's not going to be doing the damage. And right now, the game stage is pretty even.
Yeah, there's not really much in terms of objectives. Yes, the middle plates are down for Falcon. They're down to that last plate right there from the Herald charge. But, you know, it's a Vladimir. You're probably not going to push him out unless you grab the next Herald. He's just going to keep clearing the way with his E and heal up with the Q to avoid any poke that you could possibly get from him. And now, Wild West clearing the wards on top side. It looks like they might try for this Herald in the next 30 seconds, or at least they're going to try to make it a little bit more difficult for INT to pick it up. But Vladimir looking like he might. Now he's going to come back around. He's just checking for some wards. The Maokai, though, I want to point out, did really well in that fight despite being down almost half the CS of the Ornn.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I mean, the Maokai is sitting at a 40 CS deficit, but I mean, he hasn't died since the 7-minute mark. So he's doing fairly well, doing recovery, stabilizing his lane, stopping the bleeding. And we can credit him for that.
Yeah, he's just giving his laner a bit of a handicap. He's like, yeah, you know, this is going to be too easy. Let me make this a little bit more challenging, a little bit more interesting here. Feed a couple kills over. Something I was talking about at the beginning in the draft phase is something you don't see, and you don't see it very often. The Zilean Volibear matchup. So for those unaware of the lore of that, and actually, hang on, Rob Blast and Delta. No, they're just going to do a little bit of trade. Delta almost looked like he wanted to go in pretty hard there. So Wild West going to clear out the wards, possibly look for a gank, but just setting up, making sure that his laners are safe and get their vision out. But as I was saying, so there's an old lore matchup between Volibear and Zilean. So back in the day, I don't know how long have you been playing League of Legends? If I should ask first.
Since preseason 4.
Okay, so do you I don't remember if that was around then, but do you remember the Journals of Justice?
I'd like to believe I did, but I didn't pay much attention to the lore, if I'm going to be honest.
All right, so for those people that aren't aware in the audience, the Journal of Justice was used basically how League used to get lore out. It was little like news clippings from like when the lore was that they were all in some big event that they just fought each other in. And actually, we're have to wait on that for this fight. Bo Explode gets engaged on the Ornn ult coming out from Delta. Hafs goes in. He does manage to grab the Ornn with the ult, but the Ram is going to knock him away. I think they're just going to pick this Herald up and get right out of there. But as I was saying, so the lore, they had a little newspaper thing, and when Volibear got added to the game, he used to be an armored bear, and they did a little like quote from Zilean, and Zilean just goes, "Back in my day, there weren't any we didn't allow armored bears into the league." And it's just something that's always stuck with me. Otherwise, that was kind of just a hilarious quote.
I wanted to interject a little bit here. With that Herald play, they had Falcon Esports actually sent all their members up to the top side of the map, while Brock Lee decided to stay bottom, which I actually think is a smart play. The reason for that is because Brock Lee, while behind, got to farm 3 free waves and a free turret, opening up that side of the map so Victor can play sideway now. And in my opinion, if Falcon Esports doesn't, if the plates aren't up, that Herald is actually lost due to the EXP and gold lost on the round map. And I feel like a lot of teams need to understand that. But something from INT that I didn't like was the split decision, where you kind of see their hesitation, where they almost fought it 4v5 despite having Broccoli on the bus side of the map.
Yeah, you saw Bo go in there. You saw Delta walk in, forcing Delta's ult out. I mean, they did get the ult out of the rel like in exchange, so that's always good. But I mean, they're going to both be back up in time. So yeah, like you were saying, you definitely can see that split. You can see that half the team considering going in, the other half like maybe we shouldn't. And I'm wondering if that kind of, if those comms, will kind of snowball forward and become a little bit of an issue in later fights and objective decisions. The Herald is dropped mid lane right here. I don't think it's going to get much. I think that the Ornn is just going to stop it right there.
Bow exposed just going in, just bear stancing everyone, not with a care in the world with the Zillion speed. Looks like Rel goes in onto the Zillion. Looks like Rel gets the stun, Zillion gets off the revive, Ornn gets that Ornn right onto his back line.
Yeah, and down goes Camel as well. Wild West trying to make some space for them, but he's not going to be able to get much. Paytime has to flash out, use the Gale Force to get out too. Down goes Raw. Wild West still trying to buy some space. Paytime getting slowed up, and he's going to go down too. And now the volley has to, but Brock is on the chase. Is he going to be able to get another kill? Here he goes forward. The Q comes out, and it's going to be a double kill and an ace for INT.
I mean, the breakout to that fight, Falcon Esports has no business only sending 2 members into the pit. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to get vision control. They think that they can evenly fight with the INT due to the last fights that have been going on. But at this point in the game, it doesn't matter if your gold leads 6k if two of your members are just facing 3 of the other members of INT. They have the damage to take you down. And after that, the fight's basically just over, especially if they're your damage dealers like Vladimir.
Yeah, the Vladimir going down so early in that fight basically spelled the doom for Falcon right there. And unfortunately, their team doesn't really have the greatest disengage. I mean, Vlad can kind of pull out, and Kaisa can ult and Gale Force away, but the rest of the team's kind of just stuck there and just hoping like, oh, can we just tank enough to get out of here? And unfortunately, in this case, it was not to be. 7k up right now for INT, only 19 and a half minutes into the game. If you're Falcon, Torres, and you see yourself down in this position, you see you just lost it. He's got ace in this last team fight. You see that Baron's going to be up in the next 30 seconds, but you probably can't contest it. What do you do to kind of get your lead back here? What do you do to get back into this game?
This game, you kind of just have to open up the map a little bit. I mean, you have to play your side lane smart. I think sending Vladimir into a side lane would be a good idea. You really can't take fights at this point. As much as you are a team fight comp, you have to cut your losses. The Infernal Soul from INT, like, you've already gotten a Mountain Drake. INT is only on 2 Drakes. You have effectively 10 minutes to try and scale some items, get some vision control, and just hope they make a mistake, or you force a mistake. One is riskier than the other, but, I mean, the payout may be better.
Yeah, and maybe they can force something right here. You do see Delta walking forward into the blue side jungle, getting some wards out. Fully Bear coming up. I don't think he's going to be able to get there in time. Delta walks right on out. It's Raw. It's got Bo and Delta up here. Looks like they're going to try to shove this top lane down. Maybe try to get a dive in. But the rest of Falcon is here to respond. And I think INT is just going to walk out of that. Setting up. Ooh, looks like they're hiding, looking for, see if they can get a pick. Halves is here. Delta, though, a little bit separated, a little bit caught in the middle. Or I guess he doesn't think enough because he's going to stop there and just buy an item in the middle of the lane.
I mean, Falcon Esports right now, they're just, what is good about them is that they're moving as a group, but it's also a detriment to them. Like, they sent Vladimir bot, they saw the Udyr from INT go topside, so they sent 3 members, Volibear, Kaisa, and Rel, up to the topside in fear of a dive. Because if Maokai goes down, and that tower goes down with the Vladimir bot side, INT will instantly start Baron, and the game is pretty much over from there.
Yeah, they really they really need to make sure this Baron does not just get snuck away from them. I've been missing your high level cast, Torres. I've loved your analysis. I'm so glad to have it back. So excited that we're almost to the Mythic League. Only 2 more days. We finally get to see you guys all back together playing.
That's a high wish, my friend. I'm riding the bench, but I'm cool with it. I'm ready to see my old team smack everyone else in Mythic.
Some good confidence right there. I believe, though. I feel you'll get some time in the sun. Speaking of sun, vision, the light of it all, being kind of dwindled for Falcon right now. All their wards getting cleared out on their blue side. It's looking pretty dark right there for them. They got to be careful walking over here to get and even recover any of that. And Raw's got to be careful because here comes Boxlo just flying at him forward. Delta trying to slow him down. The ult comes out from Raw, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He does use the W to kind of catch up. Here's Wild. Oh, the Kai'Sa comes flying in too. It's going to be boating down Raw, but the ult comes in from the Kai'Sa. They're going to grab the Ornn. No, they're not. He's going to get the Zillion ult onto himself. And now Falcon, they're going to try to make something out of this. Now they're getting pretty low. Half is low too. Oh, but the flash forward. Oh my god. There goes Evolve Noob. He got betrayed by his team. And now it's Camel Basil just forward on the Vladimir. He gets 1 on He Who Slops. And they're going to back out a 1-for-2 trade in favor of Falcon.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I was talking about. If you're Falcon, you have to wait for the enemy team to make a mistake. And that right there was it. Of course, they get only 2 kills from it, but I mean, that gold going on to, I think it was Kai'Sa, one of the kills. I mean, that's a great thing to have, especially if your Kai'Sa is on the second item, moving on to their third.
Yeah, and I feel so bad for Evolve. He gets jumped on, and his team immediately hits the blast cone, just shoots him back over the wall to the rest of Falcon. Poor guy. Top 10 anime betrayals right there, team. Top 10 indeed.
Hey man, that's INT telling Evolve Noob what the pecking order is. He's gotta know his place.
Gotta know his place. You gotta show him. Well, you gotta put the int in int. Dragon almost up right here as we see INT getting positioned for it. The rest of Falcon coming in too. Delta on the side. They don't know he's there. He's looking for something. They do get the ward down. Paytime does spot him out. The Ram goes forward. Misses. Now they're positioning. Camel's got the wave pushed up, and he's starting to move up here too. They've got to be careful on IT. If he gets a 5-man Vladimir mold, they can get a nice engage with the Rel. I think that could be it for them. No one's starting the Dragon yet. They're just going to keep poking, try to get Falcon low, try to get them to be dissuaded from going into this fight. His bow gets speedy right there. Looking for pick.
They're really, INT's playing a little bit reserved despite being up 7k gold. They're just trying to hold that.
Here comes the fight. The Rel goes in, hits 5 with it, but he's going to go down quick. Paytime is having to ult onto the other side. The rest of the team goes forward. The Zillion ult goes down. They take out the Volibear for a killing spree. Camel trying to get out to the Kai'Sa goes down for a double kill to the Victor. A double kill for the Ornn, and Raw is going to go down too. And another ace for INT as they take the 3rd Dragon of the game, and I'm seeing some deja vu here.
Yeah, especially after this Drake, they'll probably just walk it to Baron, play it safe, shove out the waves, get that top tower, probably break the mid tier 2 as well after a reset. But I mean, that all started off with Falcon Esports decide like what they failed to engage. They had split decisions. One, the gold lead is too large for them to be fighting that. I think they should just give it. But that's my personal opinion. They thought differently. We saw the fight played out. But something accredited to no members going down on INT's side was the split decision between the Kai'Sa and the Vladimir. As you saw, the Kai'Sa dive the backline and effectively got like 0 damage done in that team fight. They might have been able to take out 1, but that was effectively it.
Oh, hang on. The teleport coming in from Raw. They're looking for another one right here. Evolve Noob trying to run away. The Rel goes right in. They grab him too with the Volibear and the Maokai. He's going to go into the Zillion ult, but I think he's basically left for dead at this point. He's going to get stunned up. He's trying to run away, and he's going to go down. Now He Who Slops getting engaged on by Raw. He's getting slowed by those little saplings. They're going to get out with only 1 member to lose for that Baron. May have stuck around a little bit too long, but I think it's worth it overall for them.
Yeah, just another showing of the pecking order of INT. Evolve Noob goes down again. But I mean, you still can get away with 4 Barons and a Drake, put you on Soul Point. It's overall a win.
Yeah, I'd say so. And you know, it's just a welcome to the team moment. Like, you know, here, man, let's get you those 3 deaths. 1 letter in our little tag. gotta be the inter for int.
Of course. And with that, like with Evolve Noob spawning in, I assume he'll go into a side lane unless INT's feeling like they can really just win it at this point. because effectively they could just 5v5 and push down a turret together. But I assume he'll just go 4v1, a 4-1 split due to his teleport and how well he can shove out lanes.
I would agree with that. I see him starting to go up towards the top side. The rest of his team here to clear out and get some vision so he doesn't just get flanked out of nowhere. They don't want him to have a fourth one death to his name this game, as they're also just taking the rest of the camps away from Wild West. 11,000 gold up right now, 27 minutes into this game. Soul point on the table in almost a little under 3 minutes. But I wonder if Falcon's gonna be able to hold on that long right now. INT's looking for something to pick off right here. The ult from Broccoli goes by. They're trying to shove down this top tower right here. We might have another fight on our hands.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, INT has just called that they're way stronger than the enemy team. They're just looking to shove down that top tower, probably break it with that next wave as it syncs up. Unfortunately for them, they didn't sync the mid and bot waves, so nothing will be crashing, but it looks like Evolve Noob's making his way over there now, where they're going to be 4-4-1, a little bit late, but in the end, it's going to get done.
Yeah, now Hafs goes in. They do see Evolve Noob in the middle right there. He gets ult onto 2 and the E onto 2 as well. The Ornn ult coming out. The rest of Falcon going forward. They're trying to get something, but they're getting low already. I think they realize they bit off a little bit more than they can chew. Trying to get out Roz, trying to buy some time. He's going to go down. Now the rest of the team on the run. Kaisa goes forward, trying to grab Delta. He gets him, but he's going into the Zillion ult and costs him 2 of his teammates' life as he and Wild are on the run. They're trying to get away, but Bo is on the hunt. You cannot escape this bear. Bear on bear slap. He's going to get another slap. He's going to get the next bear slap. And it's another ace for INT. And I think that's going to be the game.
Yeah, it really was just looking to be a game. I mean, INT called it. They're just stronger to 5v5. Whether it was a bait or not, Falcon Esports just goes way too far in, and they just end up giving away their life for it.
Yeah, that first fight around Dragon really made it difficult for them, but that last second one sealed their fate as INT advances to be one of our 2 teams in this league to become undefeated, to be on top. They continue their run from last season. The last inhibitor turret about to go down. They're all kind of low. They actually might have to back off here. I might have spoken too soon. Yeah, they're just going to back it up. A little bit too low for them to continue. And this game's going to go on just a little bit longer. Oh, CU slumps!
No, he's got him. It looks like they're just playing it safe. They know they won. They're just playing around a little bit. He who swaps. Just toying with him. A little bit of BM. But, I mean, it's show. You got to do a little bit of it.
Yeah, he should rename himself He Who BMs. That was a pretty BM, just walking out and just knowing he won't be taken out with the Zillion ult, as the rest of INT backs to grab some items for themselves. Falcon coming out, they're looking for some gold to get under their belt, something to kind of draw this out, hoping they can maybe find a miracle play right here. I'm not sure if they're going to find it, but if there's ever a time that I've found that a team can really bring it together, it's when their backs are against the wall, and Falcons are for sure against the wall right here. Dragon up in 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the top inhib is just shoving in. No one's going to answer that inhibitor wave. They've deemed that them getting this fighting for the soul point is more important than protecting their own base, but because super many waves are just going to crash in. INT really can just play this slow. Or just have one effectively too big. But I mean, it looks like they're going to go for one last ditch effort.
Yeah, they're going for the fight right here. Maokai ult is going to come out. Bo Explode's trying to stay on this dragon. He wants to claim the soul for them, and he is not going to get it. It's going to get stolen away. Bo goes down, but so do 2 members of Falcon. I'm not sure if it was worth it to make that a 3rd. Camel trying to get away. He's going to die too. And ooh, the orange teleport gets stopped by another bear slap. But it's not going to matter. Bo is going to go forward with his own. The ult doesn't go over the wall. Oh no, Wild. He's going to go down, the 4th ace of the game for INT. And that is going to be the game. They march on forward. They may have not gotten the teleport. They may have not gotten the soul. But I think they'll try that for another victory under their belt in this league. Going 2-0 on the first week.
Yeah, and it looks like INT was just a better team today. Just Falcon Esports just didn't play that. I think their draft was fine, although they lacked disengage. I think they just played a little bit too hesitant and also just picked too many fights. They accelerated the game state when they really didn't need to.
Yeah, and He Who Slops grabs himself another kill. Kind of pad the stats at the game ends onto the rel. And that does it. 31 minutes, 31-8, an 18,000 gold lead for INT. And a pretty big statement to say, hey, we're still here, Yuumi. You've got to deal with us soon.
Yeah, I mean, INT are reigning champions, even though they took a break, they're still looking pretty strong despite having subs. I mean, They'll explode as the core of the team, as their leader and their shot caller. The macro knowledge is there. Just some of the individual mechanics and stuff. But I mean, as they keep playing after their break, I feel like this team's really just going to take it. We'll see if Yugi can actually fight against them.
Yeah, and look at those damage numbers. The Ord out damaging everyone on Falcon. That's one strong rock, as we were talking about earlier. The Victor, though, also putting up good numbers, and the Ezreal, the whole team really just doing good work. Even the support for INT putting up some good damage numbers.
Yeah, I mean, that was really surprising to me, who swaps. I was not expecting it, but I mean, it did cover a lot of INT's weaknesses. I feel like, because with that lane, with the Ezreal Zoe lane, you just poke from literally a screen away. You shove in that lane, and Bo Explode can focus on taking the objectives and the Drake and the top side, which we saw he did. He got first Drake, he ganked top lane early, and the bot lane was really a no mortal threat. Along with that, INT kind of has like, they have a trigger finger. It's no surprise to anyone. They have a trigger finger. They like to go for plays. They like to go for fights. And a lot of those fights were actually salvaged by He Who Swaps his ult. The Zillion ult actually allowed them to go for some of these plays without taking that much of a risk.
Yeah, and looking at the schedule, we're unfortunately not going to get to see INT versus UB, our only two undefeated teams right now, until day 6 in week 3. So we'll have to see if both those teams can keep their undefeated streaks going, heading towards that matchup. I think it will be very exciting to watch all the way down there. But still, I think Falcon, like you said, we saw the comp, we saw the potential there. They need to clean a bit up, maybe change a piece here or there, and just kind of get their fights a little bit more in order, their timing a bit more in order. And I think they can be pretty strong. I think they can have quite some success in this league.
I think they definitely do. Will show up more than some other teams that I've watched throughout the Heroic League, and their drafting seems to be okay. What I'd like to see is a little bit more, whoever their coach is, a little bit more macro, focusing on macro rather than individual playmaking style, because it looks like it's solo queue. To be blunt, some of these plays look like they're disorganized and not on the same page. And of course, it's only the second day. But I think as the season goes on, I think those things will become more crisp and more clean. And I think Falcon Esports can actually hang up there with the top.
Yeah, I'm excited to see their growth in this league. Well, that does it for us for this game. But don't go anywhere. We've got an interview coming up right after this break.
Hello, hello, hello. It's your boy Sharogan, and I am here with Evolved Noob, INT's mid laner, yet another one. I think that we're starting to pick up on a theme here with these interviews. We're going to go lane by lane, and we'll just kind of rotate it out. Evolved Noob, you just finished up picking up your second win of the season. You guys are undefeated so far. How you feeling right now?
Feeling really good about it. For sure. We definitely worked hard to set up our leads and win this one as well.
You definitely did. So was there anything in particular that you guys did for setting up your game plan going up against FEC?
Well, I mean, we knew that we outscaled them, even with the Vladimir. So our original plan was to try and generate early leads, play around their mid-game power spikes with the Volibear, and the Kaisa, and then eventually, if we were even at that point, chill at that point and scale the late game and beat them then. But
Okay, so
we got an early lead, so that changed our game plan.
you guys did manage to get an early lead. However, we saw what we thought was the unthinkable as He Who Slops was actually killed on Zillion. He had gone a whole season where just they could not get taken down. Was there anything in the comms like regarding that? I just gotta know.
He was depressed. We are going to have to make him feel better about that somehow. But it was definitely a very striking blow for him.
I'll bet it was. I'll bet it was. So you've had an opportunity now to play against Falcon Esports, and they seem to kind of actually give you guys a little bit of a run for your money. There were a couple of times where it wasn't exactly touch and go, but they definitely seemed like they were fighting really, really well and were able to overcome you guys in a few spots. So I got to ask, how do you think Falcon Esports and the rest of the new blood stands against the old guard?
I definitely see some potential for sure, but the challenge that Yubi was giving us earlier, I really have to ask, did Yubi lose to this?
Okay, man, that is some shots fired right there. Yubi, you guys better be coming for blood. That's gonna, they might, I have a serious doubts it's gonna happen, but they may turn you guys into a scratching post.
I'm down for them to try.
All right, Evolved Noob, thank you so much for being here. Everyone just stick around. We've got BBZ versus God, I'm blanking on who it was again. Against Pentakill Teemo Please. So we got BBZ versus Pentakill Teemo Please. Hopefully that's a really exciting one. Evolved Noob, thank you. Appreciate having you here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everyone just stick around. We'll be right back.